Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage SWANA member Dr. Catherine Sando, Chief Commercial Officer for the Lancaster County Solid Waste Management Authority.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, home of this year's WASTECON 2019, as we've affectionately called it, a pathway to innovation. As I was introduced, my name is Dr. Katie Sando, and it is my joy and privilege and honor to be with you over these next 4 days as we navigate an exciting conference that I am just thrilled to participate with you. I want to pause first, if we could, and recognize our sponsors for tonight's opening reception and this keynote. You know, it takes companies who invest in SWANA, invest in this conference, and invest in you to make an amazing experience. So I'd like to recognize Republic Services, New Way Trucks, and Auto Environmental for their investment in the festivities this evening. Please join me in thanking them. So I want to start by asking a question. How many of you have attended a WasteCon before? This is what I figured. How many have never attended a WasteCon before? Half and half. All right, for those who this is new, welcome. I'm so excited that this is your first WasteCon. And for those of you who have attended in the past, I want you to set aside all preconceived notions about what you think this WasteCon is going to be. I want you to set aside what you think you might learn and experience, and I want to introduce you to a re-engineered WasteCon. SWANA has spent the last year talking to our membership, talking to you as solid waste leaders to say, what do you want to learn and discover and know at WasteCon? So we have completely re-engineered this conference with you in mind. In fact, I would like to say that it's not really a conference. It's an amazing, scripted, put together learning experience for you. So I hope that you'll take the most advantage of it. Like you, I'm a solid waste leader. So at the Lancaster County Solid Waste Management Authority, I serve on the executive team, and every day, every week, we joke about the number of meetings that we have, but talk about the issues that face our organization and our community. We're concerned, I'm personally concerned, how can I better serve our community? How can we do it in better ways, in new ways? How can we maximize our resources? How can we come up with ideas to headwinds and real challenges that we face? So this WasteCon, let me tell you a little bit about how, as a solid waste leader and you as well, the types of things that you'll experience over these next 4 days. Number one, I'm concerned with how can we improve our solid waste management services? How can we think about our services in a new and different way? And so SWANA has curated and partnered with some amazing organizations to provide rich, deep learning experiences for all of you. Number two, safety is one of our core values, both at SWANA and at the organization that I work for. Every day, we strive and we talk about how can our people go home safely. The people who work for us, the people we serve, our customers, and our community. And so I hope that you'll take advantage of SWANA's Safety Summit to come away with some new ideas, tools, and resources to keep your employees and your customers and your community safe as well. Number three, we talk about all the time in Lancaster, how can we foster economic development? How we can support a thriving community? And how can we develop and connect with a talented, gifted workforce? So there's quite a few innovative sessions that talk about how can you access new funding streams? How can you think about economics in a different way? And how do you develop a workforce that you need to deliver the best quality services that you can? Number 4, we talk all the time about sustainability. For LCSWAMA, we're talking about, from a community standpoint, how do we bring together the intersection of economic, the environment, and social values? And so there are quite a few sessions on storytelling. What does that have to do with the waste industry? Well, for LCSWAMA, and I know for many of you, critical elements of how we manage waste, we understand at a deep level, but the public officials, the community leaders, the people that we serve don't always understand the necessity of waste to energy, of landfill, about what the heck happened with recycling. And so it takes a craft and a skill to be able to tell that story in a way people understand. And so we have sessions for you to help you think through better communications, more creative communications, storytelling. And finally, how can I be a better leader? How can you be a better leader? Throughout this week, there are opportunities for you to grow and for you to stretch as a solid waste leader, but also, more importantly, how do you bring all of this information, all of these tools, all of these resources back to your team? Because it cannot just stop here. It can't stop with you. You are the beginning of a pathway to innovation, and so we invite you to be intentional through this week to capture these ideas to take back to your teams. So, one of the things that I like to start with, there's 2 quotes that I want to share with you as we move through this evening. The first one is, "Our intention creates our reality." I'll say it one more time. Our intention creates our reality. And what that means, psychologists talk all the time about being intentional, setting goals. What do you want? Once you set that and you are intentional about working towards it, that becomes your reality. So I move into the second quote, and I'll connect these 2 for you. But the second quote that I love, that I live by, and that I'm going to challenge you throughout the course of the next 4 days, are great things don't come from comfort zones. Great things don't come from comfort zones. The comfort zone is a great place to rest, to relax, to restore, but growth, new things, great things don't come from the comfortable space. So over the next few days, you may look over the program, the agenda, and think, what does that have to do with solid waste management? How could that help me be a better leader? How could that help me provide and improve my services? Be intentional to lean into the things that make you uncomfortable. If you're not a great networker, lean into it. Connect with someone new. If you're a great connector, lean in and help someone else make that connection. So over the next week, I want you to be open and curious. Ask the questions and lean into something that seems unusual or uncomfortable. I want you to be intentional. Again, our intention creates our reality. And I want you to be uncomfortable. I want you to lean into the things that you've never done before. Because your journey, your pathway to innovation begins here, begins tonight. So this is the first lean in conversation. You all received, if you didn't, they have them in the back, what we're calling the WASTECON playbook. No, folks, this is not a program. It's not a schedule of events. It's not where you're going to find all of your to-dos. I'm going to pause and say, SWANA has an app for that. So if you haven't already, download the WASTECON app, and that's where you'll get all of the logistical information about the conference over the next week. But this is a book, this is a space for you to ideate. This is a space for you to set learning goals. This is a space for you to jot down your ideas and your insights. This is a space to inspire creative thinking. And the reason why we gave you a physical book, that's on purpose, that's with intention. Because both neurobiology and psychology research shows when you physically write down something, whether it's notes, thoughts, there is a different kind of synaptic connection that happens in the brain. It helps with memory retention. It also helps with deeper understanding and application. It's why I'm also an adult educator and I teach part-time at a university, and this is what I tell my students: writing down notes, taking notes, not just on your phone, not just on your tablet, not just on your laptop, but writing them down it resides deep in your psyche in a way that you can't do digitally. This is why we gave you a book. So we're gonna practice using the book. Again, lean into the conversation with me. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna open the inside cover. And this is a silly activity, but it's intentional. I want you to write down your name and contact information. Whatever you feel comfortable, folks, your cell phone or your email. The purpose of this is so that if you leave your playbook somewhere, we can contact you and get it back to you, okay? Once you're finished with that, I'm gonna have you turn to page 8. And the title of it says, "Make the most out of the conference and be mindful." So this is the opportunity to stop and reflect. What are your goals from this WASTECON? What do you want to take away? If you are a go-getter and proactive and you already have those goals, fantastic for you, write them down. But if you're like me, I have some vague goals when I come into a conference. Well, I want to learn, I want to make connections, I want to come away with something. But I want you to be thoughtful. What are the challenges you are trying to solve? If you're looking to make a connection, why? Why do you need to make that connection? If you have an issue or a problem that you're really wrestling with or a headwind that you're facing, write that down. So I'm really comfortable with silence, but they're telling me they're going to play some music. I'm going to give you about a minute to jot that down, okay? Okay, I've started to see some heads come up. They've kept me quarantined to the stage, so the teacher and me wanted to pace the floor. All right, if you didn't get a chance to finish this exercise, I would encourage you to make some space tonight after the festivities to take some time to think about and be intentional how you're gonna be uncomfortable this week and what are your goals. So keep open that same page. If you turn to the next, right next to it, 9, 5 connections I will make this week. One of the greatest pieces of advice that my father gave me was when he said that networking, connections, relationships are the yeast of business. That is what makes business rise. So you may think, I know everyone, I know lots of people, but there is always an opportunity to make connections in a new and different way. One of the spaces that you can think about is, what problem are you trying to solve? What idea or innovation or technology are you interested in? What connection do you want to make? So I'm going to give you another minute, maybe 90 seconds, depending on the heads, to write down what 5 connections you want to make this week. Okay. So if you didn't get a chance to finish that exercise, now you have homework. So I do encourage you to spend some time tonight or tomorrow morning, whatever in the way that you feel most fresh, to work on that. And one of the last things that I'll point out to you, we won't spend a lot of time on it, but on pages 48 to 49 in the back of your playbook, you'll see space where you can write down an action plan. So this is as you move throughout the course of the week and when you leave. So again, our intention is our reality. What are you intentionally going to do to make those goals happen that you wrote down this week? How are you going to make those connections to the people that you want to? You can start by jotting down, here's what I'm going to do this week. Here's who I'm going to seek out. This is what I'm going to go to this session to learn. This is how I'm going to push myself out of that comfort zone. So if one of the things that you wrote down was, I wanted to meet a solid waste leader who's involved with SWANA at a high level, you're in luck. Next, I would like to introduce Michael Greenberg. So Michael is the president of GT Environmental out of Columbus, Ohio. He is also the current president for SWANA's board of directors. And I will tell you, even though he's from Columbus, Ohio, so I think he's a Buckeyes fan, and I am from Pennsylvania, so I am a Nittany Lions fan, and we have a deep rivalry. He is a very good Buckeye, so he's one of the good ones. So please join me in welcoming Michael Greenberg to give you a welcome as well.
My name is Michael Greenberg. I am currently president of the SWANA International Board. I started in the solid waste industry when I came out of graduate school. I was an intern for the Environmental Protection Agency. I spent 10 years there, and in the last 4 years, solid waste laws were passed, and I got involved in that division and department and wrote the first state of Ohio solid waste management plan. Well, I like doing leadership things. I've been doing leadership things ever since I've been a young person. The what we call the OPs now, the older professionals, when I was a young professional, drafted me and had me come to some of the board meetings at the state chapter, which is exactly where everybody should start. Working in their local chapters gave me a huge opportunity to get leadership skills, experience in developing projects, training, and major workshops that we put on for our membership. So it's a great place to get that type of experience. In order to be successful in our business, we always have to innovate and change our products, do more research, do it different ways, make our products better. So innovation is key. Well, I would tell anyone who wants to get more involved that they absolutely should get more involved and take on more responsibility at the local level. I think everybody should start with their chapter, help out with the functions that they have, the trainings that they have, and get organized there, take on a leadership role on those local boards, and then if the opportunity exists to move to the national opportunities here in leadership and skills. I would tell them absolutely they should do it and join SWANA, because it can provide you, if you take the opportunity to really develop your leadership skills, your opportunities to work on many different types of projects. You can get the training that you need as a professional. This is the best organization for a young professional in the solid waste industry. Make the effort to be involved. Make the effort to do the work that it takes to make your chapters successful and make the national organization successful. It's important. It's a great career opportunity. It's been life-changing for me, and the most important thing that you'll get out of all this is great friends, lifelong friends all over North America. It's worth doing it.
SWANA President Michael Greenberg.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good? All right. So on behalf of the SWANA Board of Directors and nearly 11,000 members, I'm pleased to welcome you to the 57th Annual WASTECON. I'm here to present the WASTECON Local Committee Chair Award, and this event would not be possible without the great work of our Ann, Arizona Basin Chapter. I'd like to recognize this year's co-chairs, Christina Polsgrove and Pat Tapia from the city of Tucson. Thank you for your leadership, and please join me on stage to be recognized. I know how hard it is for the local city folks and the local committee. I did this 3 or 4 years ago in Indianapolis. It's a lot of work, and they deserve a great thanks. It's going to be a great week for them. So SWANA has started down a pathway to innovation with WASTECON 2019. What you're going to hear and have multiple opportunities to participate in include new pathways. Mindfulness is one of the first pathways that you're going to have an opportunity to look to. And mindfulness can be linked to safety, overall well-being, and leadership. How to stay on task. Mindfulness is how to focus. And it teaches your mind to stop wandering and focus your attention on what the task at hand. So learn the mindfulness skills. You're going to have several opportunities the next 3 or 4 days to do that. And it's okay to go into it skeptically. Will it work? It will work. I've tried it recently, and it has done a lot for me to keep my mind focused. It also can help you fall asleep if you have mindfulness and focus. Okay. The next pathway is storytelling, and I like to tell a lot of stories. And when you're leading a session, tell it like a story. A key is not to leave out the mistakes. At a recent Swanapalooza, I made a presentation about a project that we did for the PGA, and all we talked about was the mistakes that happened during that. So tell the story so that it gives opportunities for people to learn from how to do it better next time. Make it genuine, make the stories genuine, and connect with the audience. There will be many storytelling sessions this week. If you've looked at the agenda, it'll be fast-paced and packed with information. The third pathway is innovation. How are we going to innovate our solid waste systems to solve current contamination, lack of infrastructure, higher commodity markets? IBM, the company, says that human knowledge doubles every 13 months. How fast does our solid waste management industry double? Think back 5, 10, even 50 years ago, and think of the major changes in how we manage our materials. I used to say the industry changed every 5 years. We are at a pace that seems far faster, and our younger professionals will be leading these changes into the future. We are going to learn here at WASTECON 2019 about the future and potential trends in the management of what I say is the most critical service, not only for yourself, for your family, for your neighborhood, your community, your state, your country, and the planet. Be proud of what we do out there. You should be proud of what you do, and take this opportunity this week to be mindful. Tell a story, innovate, and think how you can change the future.
Have a great WasteCon 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm always amazed and overjoyed and excited when I hear about what SWANA is doing in the industry, how we are leading the charge, how we're creating these pathways, how we're having conversations, and how we're discovering new ways to face these challenges, to overcome these hurdles, and to have great pride in our industry. So to speak more about that and the state of SWANA and what we're doing and how we're growing and how we're better serving you, it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce David Biederman, SWANA's CEO, to give you a state of SWANA. Please join me in welcoming him.
Well done. Good evening, everybody. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome all of you to WasteCon 2019. Before our opening keynote speaker, John Vander Ark from Republic Services, takes the stage, I want to take a few minutes to review some of the association's highlights since we met in Nashville a little more than a year ago. The past year has been a terrific and productive one for SWANA, with our membership continuing to grow and reach record-setting levels. We added nearly 2,700 new members in fiscal year 2019, and now have more than 10,700 members in SWANA. Our stunning growth has continued in the new fiscal year, as we added more than 300 new members just last month. Guided by our strategic plan, we continue to make SWANA a smarter, stronger, and indispensable association for solid waste professionals in both the private and public sectors. It's truly been a team effort, and we would not be successful without the great work of our chapter leadership, our board members, technical divisions, your hardworking SWANA staff, and the youthful energy of the more than 1,000 members of our Young Professionals YP group, each of which has played a very important role in our success over the past year. An important structural change was implemented earlier this year as we successfully transitioned from an international board of 70 to a much more streamlined board of directors of 21 people. This implemented a key aspect of our strategic plan and is making us a more effective association. I want to take a moment to thank President Michael Greenberg for his leadership and persistence in making this governance change a reality. Thank you, Michael. In addition to increasing our membership in terms of numbers, SWANA is also expanding geographically. Last year, we established a new chapter in the Pacific Basin, and they had a very successful first year, including helping to host the Pacific Islands Environmental Conference on Guam in June. Yesterday, SWANA's board granted them full chapter status. They are our 46th chapter. I want to recognize and thank Bob Perron for his leadership in guiding the creation of the Pacific Basin chapter. Yesterday, the board also approved the creation of a new chapter in Michigan, where we have more than 110 members in the Great Lakes state. I met with some of the chapter leaders last month in Detroit, and I'm confident that they will provide great programs and service to our members throughout the state. Thank you to Paul Scrisha for his stellar work helping to establish what's going to be our 47th chapter in the state of Michigan. One of the reasons SWANA has grown so much over the past few years, frankly, is our unprecedented visibility in both the mass media and the trade press. The past year has been no exception. Whether it was National Public Radio or the New York Times seeking our insights about the impact of China's national sword, or ABC News contacting us last week about safety, or the trade publications Waste Dive, MSW Management, Waste 360, frequently quoting SWANA on a wide variety of topics. SWANA is very much the go-to association for insights and expertise on topics from anaerobic digestion to zero waste, from A to Z. And perhaps the topic where we've been the most visible and played the most important role over the past year is the continuing and evolving impact of China's national sword on recycling programs in the United States and Canada. Following our MRF summit at WASTECON in Nashville, where potential responses and solutions to China's import restrictions were identified, SWANA successfully pushed back on the recycling is failing narrative that took hold in the media. So we issued a myths and facts infographic in early April for both the United States and Canada that helped frame some of the Earth Day-related media coverage on recycling. And we've distributed this to members of Congress, US EPA, and others. We've been reminding reporters, government officials, and others that the fact that a few dozen towns scattered across the United States have suspended curbside recycling doesn't mean we're in some sort of national recycling crisis. And our cautious optimism about the future of recycling in the United States and Canada appears to be coming true, as new paper mills are opening and companies are making multi-million-dollar investments in processing facilities so they can accept mixed paper and other recycled fiber. Our leadership on recycling is recognized by the US Environmental Protection Agency and others. In November of 2018, SWANA participated in EPA's America Recycles Day Summit, where 44 associations, local governments, and companies agreed to work together to improve recycling. Since then, EPA-led work groups have been developing a national recycling framework, which EPA will release in just a few weeks on November 15th. SWANA and its members are playing key roles in the development of this framework, and SWANA was asked recently to help EPA plan and issue invitations to a brand new innovations fair that will take place in Washington the day before the summit on November 14th. Tomorrow at 10:40 a.m. in this room, Kathleen Saylor from EPA will provide an update on the agency's activities and a sneak peek about what to expect in November. Also, if you're proud of your recycling program, or if you've made some recent change to it to improve recycling in your community, I urge you to hold some sort of event, issue some sort of press release in mid-November to support SWANA's and EPA's narrative that recycling is important, it matters, and is not failing. SWANA's Applied Research Foundation, also known as the ARF, issued several useful reports over the past year. We received a lot of positive feedback from ARF subscribers and others on ARF's recent report on recycling. We've also received a lot of requests for copies of this report, given the importance of recycling in the media and what people are talking about. And I'm pleased to announce that we will be making this important report available to all SWANA members for free starting next week. The report contains important data, analysis, and recommendations that local government officials and others should use in evaluating changes to their recycling programs. And I recommend that next week you can download it from our website. SWANA is holding here this week our 7th annual Safety Summit. The Safety Summit has been a terrific opportunity for members and others to learn about how to reduce accidents and injuries. The Safety Summit was the brainchild of former SWANA president Tom Parker, who is stepping down this week as the chair of SWANA's Safety Committee. I want to thank Tom for his invaluable guidance and leadership, and know he will stay involved in our safety efforts. Tom, thank you. SWANA added 3 new safety initiatives this year. First, we've been asking members and others in the industry to take a safety pledge, a pledge to help all the hardworking men and women in this great industry get home safely, and to consider safety in all of our decision-making. This pledge is on our website. I'm pleased to report that nearly 3,000 people in the industry have taken the SWANA Safety Pledge. And I want to recognize in particular the city of Phoenix, which has had more employees take the pledge than any other city or company in the United States and Canada. Thank you, City of Phoenix. Second, Our chapters are holding hauler safety outreach events. At these events, safety information is provided to collection crews when they arrive at landfills, transfer stations, and other disposal facilities. Through these events, SWANA is reaching thousands of industry employees who are not SWANA members, who may not have the benefit of a good safety program, and providing them with resources that can help them prevent a future accident or injury. I salute the chapters that have held these events and urge others to schedule them in the coming year. Third, our third safety initiative over the past year is that along with NWRA, the National Waste and Recycling Association, SWANA entered into an alliance with the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration, known as OSHA, to provide additional safety and compliance information, resources, and training to solid waste employers and employees throughout the United States. And tomorrow, the OSHA Area Office Director for Arizona will speak here again in this room in the morning and discuss this exciting new partnership. I am confident that this alliance will help the industry's safety performance. Finally, I want to report that SWANA's impact is not just limited to the United States or Canada. Last year, we received a grant from the U.S. State Department to provide capacity building and training for government officials and landfill owners in Colombia in South America. A delegation from Colombia and Chile will be coming to the Atlanta, Georgia area in mid-November as part of this project and visiting 5 landfills, meeting with EPA and state officials, and learning about leachate control, landfill gas, and other environmental solutions for waste disposal. Next year, the project will culminate with a week-long SWANA training center in Bogota, Colombia. If you are interested in learning more about this project, please see me or Jesse Maxwell. Our work involving Colombia highlights an important fact. While we have our share of solid waste challenges here in the United States and Canada, many developing countries face a growing garbage crisis. Whether it's marine litter in the ocean, illegal dumping, or methane and other greenhouse gases emitting from rapidly growing and unstable dump sites, there's a growing recognition that the status quo in rapidly growing countries like India, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Brazil is not sustainable. SWANA and its members are considered the experts on how to address these difficult and complicated issues by the World Bank and others. I believe we have a responsibility and an opportunity for to teach future generations, not just to address solid waste challenges here in North America, but provide our expertise and assistance around the world. And SWANA is going to continue looking for opportunities to do so. We only get one planet, and as I stated at WasteCon in Baltimore 2 years ago, there's no time to waste. So this year's WasteCon, as Katie has mentioned, reflects some of the changes and improvements we've made at SWANA over the past few years. Educational content is going to be delivered in a wide variety of formats, including keynote sessions in this ballroom, technical sessions in the meeting rooms, catalyst sessions at booths in the exhibit hall, poster sessions, and the breakfast roundtables on Thursday morning. I hope all of you take full advantage of the rich educational buffet that we have developed for you. And I also urge all of you to please visit the exhibit hall later this evening for the opening reception, as well as on Tuesday and Wednesday between 11 and 3 p.m., and talk to our exhibitors. And please remember to attend the Wednesday evening reception that the chapter is holding out at Corona Ranch. It's going to be a really epic event. So in conclusion, the past year has been very successful, but there's a lot more work to be done. Much of that work is done by your terrific, dedicated, knowledgeable, and hardworking SWANA staff. Can we please give my staff a round of applause? We work together as a team, and in our office and on social media, we call ourselves Team SWANA. So please, if you're using social media and you want to say something about our organization, whether it's this week or in the future, hashtag Team SWANA is one of the ways to refer to us. And rest assured, we will continue to make SWANA the leading association for solid waste professionals. SWANA's future is quite bright, and I look forward to your thoughts and guidance on how we can make this great association even better. Thank you very much.